All right,
So we got a doozy for you tonight.
Blade
folks.
Runner 2049, 20XX.
20X.
Blade Runner 20XX.
Blade Runner Neo.
Blade Runner X.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
many things in this movie.
yeah.
So many things. I will try to stay away from spoilers.
But it's
I guess
kind of hard to.
Yeah, well, when you know what the plot of this movie is, then I think you can kind of tell where it was going.
Yeah.
Although it took a nasty turn on us at the very end.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
we did not expect. So maybe we should talk about the first movie, possibly the book and the animated short that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
I never really saw the first movie. I saw clips of it. The first time I saw clips of it was in college because I was taking
The film class.
well, no, it wasn't film class. This
no?
was like early college.
Okay.
I forgot what the class was. It was like it was a literature class, and we started looking into Philip K. Dick, and we were reading "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep," and the teacher showed us clips of the movie. The book, of course, is vastly different from Blade Runner.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick was kind of weird.
Yeah, he was.
In a good way, but he was weird.
Yeah, he was.
Read a Scanner Darkly sometime. Holy shit.
Jeez. Is that different from the movie?
I don't know, because I actually didn't read that one.
I keep forgetting that was oh yeah?
Yeah.
Because I know I love the movie. I just never really knew much about the book. But if it's anything like Blade Runner, then it's probably...
Yeah, I know I borrowed it from the library, but the opening was definitely the same with the bugs. But I never got all the way through it because shit came up, and by the time I got a chance to read it, 3 weeks were up and I had to fucking return it. So.
That's always the way.
Yep.
But yeah, the book is really good. I actually well, I didn't read it recently, but I was on a long car trip and I listened to the book on tape while I was there. While I was going. What?
Who narrated it?
I don't know actually.
Oh, okay.
I have to look into that. But yeah, the Blade Runner. It's a movie beloved by a lot of people, but it is not a perfect movie.
No, it's not. Not in the slightest.
It is a cult classic, and there is a difference between a classic and a cult classic.
Yes.
A classic is like Ghostbusters,
right?
And RoboCop. You know, a movie with good writing and good effects and like good characters. The goods vastly outweigh the bads.
Yeah.
Cult classic is heavily flawed, but with a lot of good things in it, and that people can like Blade Runner, Dune is a cult classic.
Yeah, depending on which version you watch, don't watch the 4-hour version. For all that is holy, stay away from that. So much narration.
I did.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw Dune. Yeah, like Tron is a cult classic.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's like it's got problems, but it's not a horrible movie, and it builds a world. It has characters you can engage with, but there's a lot of other things. In Blade Runner's case, good God, the story and the pacing.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
Oh yeah. We actually watched it before we went to go see this movie. I watched it last night. You watched it earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and here's the thing. It doesn't really go into it. It leaves a lot of questions, and I think the best way to view Blade Runner is that it's a visual complement to the book.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, because visually it's amazing. Like, people talk about cinematography. That's one of the things that people will praise it for.
Right. The shots in that movie were epic.
But unless you were familiar with the book, you would have a lot of problems watching it. But now that we have this new movie, I feel like it helped made that movie make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So anyway, Blade Runner 2020.
Super Baseball 2020.
Super Baseball. God damn it. Anyway, well, I guess we should talk about the animated short too, which is on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's Blade Runner 2020 Blackout or
2022. Yeah,
2022. Yeah. It fast forwards a bit to the point where replicants become more known in the public, and then the public kind of goes after them.
Yeah. So because they're new. Because in the original movie in Blade Runner, there were Nexus 6s, which were very human, but the problem is they only had a 4-year lifespan.
Yeah.
In the short, they explain that there's a new model called the Nexus 8s, which actually have a full human lifespan.
Yeah, and they're easily identified.
Yeah.
They have a serial number underneath their eye, which, by the way, is a huge flaw with the original, not only the original movie, but the original story. If you're going to make android replicants, don't make them too human. have a...
That's the trappings of a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah, because, well, the way they identify them in Blade Runner is they have to go through this whole question test, and they gotta...
Yeah, the Voight-Kampff.
You gotta scan their eyeball and check their pulse and all this crazy crap.
Response,
and then someone was like, hey, why don't we just put a serial number on them? That way we know.
Yeah.
It's like, duh.
Well, in the book, you remember it was... the way you knew somebody was an android was because they had no empathy.
Yeah.
That's why everybody owned pets.
That's, well, that was also part of the test. It tested empathy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, if you're gonna do that, just make them easily identifiable.
Yeah.
You know? It's like when you see, like, advancements in robotics and they give that a human face. Don't do that.
Yes.
Don't make it a human. Make it look like a robot.
Exactly.
What's that one? Asimo, that one robot that looks like an astronaut? Yeah, make it look like that. Don't make it look like us.
More Chappie and Johnny 5.
Less Terminator.
Less Terminator, thank you. Exactly.
Less T-800s, please. Yeah. Anyway, so in the short, what happened was the replicants organized and they set up a bomb at this data storage or some kind of electric no, it was an EMP.
Yeah, it was an EMP. It was a nuke.
The idea was to wipe out all the information. That way, all the replicants can hide.
Yeah, this way, because they were being actively hunted down. People looking them up in the registry and just beating them to death.
Yeah.
And hanging them from power lines.
Yeah. So, and the movie does allude to that a few times.
Yeah.
Because they had to, Kay, I guess his name was.
Yeah.
Had to...
No relation to Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black, but anyway.
He had to go looking up... They found the remains of an old android, and they had to... a replicant is not really an android, it's a replicant.
They're really more clones in the movie than robots.
Yeah. But anyway, he had to go looking up... They found remains of an old replicant, and they had to go look up information.
Yeah.
And when he went to the registry, they said, like, oh, it was pre-blackout.
Yeah.
So
It's like, we don't have much.
Yeah. So all they have is, like, paper that was left over.
Or, like, little glass balls. I don't even know how the hell that worked.
Yeah. I don't... Yeah, that's, like, one of the weird things. They had... these little spheres with a thing inside of it, and that was like, it had like a video file. I guess it was...
And it had the data from the Voight-Kampff tests on it.
Yeah. Maybe that was just something they didn't really go into, or...
Yeah, they didn't really go into that.
They just had it. It was just... Unfortunately, this movie does leave a few questions also, but it helps rectify a lot of the problems with the first movie. I think we should kind of start getting into spoilers at this point.
Yeah, we have to.
We'll try not to spoil too much. But the plot of the movie is, at the beginning, Ryan Gosling shows up at Batista's farm.
Yes, exactly.
And he has to take him out. And they find this giant crate that was buried under a tree. And that's where the replicants' remains were.
It was full of bones and hair.
Yeah. And, throughout it is kind of shown early on who it was, because when he went to the, that's where the little spear comes in.
Yeah.
It turns out that was Rachel.
Yeah, it was Rachel from the first movie.
And after examining the bones, they found out she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She was a replicant. That should not have happened.
No.
So
which is now a terrifying prospect for humanity.
Oh, yeah. Especially the way this movie ends. Mm-hmm. And it seems like they were alluding to possibly another movie.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way.
Something like that. But yeah, she was pregnant, and now Ryan Gosling's character has to go find out. He has to try and find the child, even though all the data has been lost, and it's kind of a fetch quest at this point.
Yeah, it really gets to that point.
I do like that this movie, it didn't fall into the traps of a lot of sequels and a lot of remakes where it just becomes derivative of the original work.
Yeah, it actually did something different.
Yes.
So I applaud it for that.
It's what I'm really worried about the new Star Wars movie. Because,
oh boy. Well, yeah, we all know what happened with Force Awakens.
Yeah, please don't.
Episode 4, Part 2.
Please don't. But yeah, this felt like a true sequel where it felt just like it was in the same world. They didn't have to have the same scene where he's like, oh, he's gonna get Chinese food at this place.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they have a chase scene through an apartment just because first movie.
Yeah.
It didn't do any of that. And thank God it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was what most people were worried about. Because it happens so much in all these unnecessary sequels, unnecessary prequels, unnecessary remakes. It's got to be like the first one, because then people can't remember.
They keep alluding to it and everything else, but when they allude to it in this movie, it's done in an interesting way, at least.
I mean, there were a few things like the origami. Because he went to go question
Gaff.
Yeah. Was that the same actor?
Yeah, that was Edward James Olmos.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was totally him.
Didn't recognize him.
Yep.
So, yeah, he went to go find him, and he had the origami as well. But that didn't really affect
It was brief.
It wasn't... It was more of it was like a brief callback, but that's about it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't carry a whole scene.
Yeah. Again, it's the world feels the same, just and
it felt a little more sterilized, though.
It did, because the original movie was very dark
and gritty,
and it was one of the grittiest, darkest movies you'll see.
Yeah, it's the way I can compare it is like think New York City back in the 1970s when it was pretty much controlled by gangs and on the verge of bankruptcy, as opposed and like the new movie 2049 is the New York of the 2000s, where it was all cleaned up and family friendly.
Yeah, but there's still shit everywhere.
Yeah, there's still shit everywhere, but there's a lot less shit.
Yeah, it did rain a lot in this movie.
Yeah, I know. That's the one thing I was watching it with Grim last night, and I'm just like, is this fucking Los Angeles or is this Seattle? It rains so goddamn much.
Apparently, future Los Angeles turns into Gotham City.
Apparently.
It's always dark and it's always raining.
I'm like, isn't this city supposed to be near a desert? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
So.
Let's see, what else? Should we talk about Ryan Gosling's little girlfriend?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That was sad.
That was
on
really
so many
sad.
levels.
Yeah.
So apparently he has this AI that runs his apartment.
Yeah, that's made by
it's made by the company
Wallace Corporation, which bought out Terrell.
Yeah.
After the whole fiasco with the Nexus 8s.
And he comes home from a long day and he turns it on and it's like, "Hi honey, how are you doing?" And it has like this hologram of a girl that like walks around his apartment. And then he buys her a present, and it's this stick that allows her to be with him
freely and not be tethered to the apartment.
Yeah, and throughout the whole movie, it's like you can tell something's gonna happen to that thing. I guess it's debatable whether or not it loved him or not, or if it was just following a program.
It did outright say it right before it got anyway.
It did. And then I think it was at that point where he was like, "Shit, nothing is real."
I know.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
It was. So the essential plot is at that point that not only is the LAPD is trying to cover the whole thing up, the fact that that a replicant had a kid because, well, yeah, it's just basically, oh, great, that means humanity is obsolete. Fuck. Yes, burn everything. And then on
cover up.
And on the same token, friggin' Jared Leto.
Oh, I forgot about it. Well, I didn't forget about it.
Only speaks in like.
He's the owner of the
pseudo-profound monologues.
Yeah, he's the owner of the company.
Yeah, the Wallace Corporation.
The Wallace Corp.
He is Mr. Wallace.
He does not have a god complex. He is a god complex.
Yeah, he is a walking god complex.
We make angels here.
Oh, God, for fuck's sake.
Wow.
I'm sorry, he was the worst thing about this movie. Anytime he's only in like 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah.
But every time he's in that scene, I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to claw my own eyes out.
I think that was part of the problem too, because he was kind of a pointless character.
He really was.
So, like, he's in 2 scenes. He spews a bunch of pseudo Shakespearean, philosophical Bible-esque bullshit.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like, I was expecting him. When we first saw him, I was expecting him.
How much you want to bet Ridley Scott put him in there?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That was his contribution.
I was expecting him to be the big bad of this thing. Like, I wanted him to go like full on what Eddie Redmayne was in Jupiter Ascending.
Yes,
I wanted him to
that would have been great.
Chew all of the scenes,
all of it,
and then have just a shootout with Ryan Gosling.
The whole movie is just Jared Leto's giant head just devouring the terrain like fucking Zardoz. Just yes.
What happened?
The gun is good.
Well, that would have been so good. Instead, they wasted him.
They really
did. They wasted him the way they wasted him in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, true.
What's going on with Jared Leto's career?
It's not really that. I guess they just don't know what to do with him. That's the whole thing. You have this actor. It's just like, oh, let's get Jared Leto. Mm-hmm. It's like, we got him. Now what do we do with him?
Make him crazy.
Fuck, I don't know. We got to do something. But anyway.
Oh, man.
No, the real main antagonist of this movie was Love.
Yeah.
L-U-V.
Yeah, his female assistant.
Yes.
And who does all his dirty work for him.
Yep.
Because while Ryan Gosling was looking for, I guess he was looking for Deckard as well.
Yeah.
But while he was on his case, she was tracking him the whole time. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where he has to go visit this orphanage out in the wastelands, I guess.
Of San Diego.
Yeah. The wastelands of San Diego. Yeah. So, he gets, like, shot down by a bunch of scrappers, I guess.
Yeah, scavengers and stuff.
So, he fights them off, and then suddenly, like, these missiles just start dropping from the sky.
Yeah.
And it was her controlling it from a drone.
She was essentially playing Missile Command.
Yeah.
Only in reverse.
It's like she sees him on the ground. She's like, come on, get up and do your fucking job.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, she was great. And
definitely more of a villain.
Oh, yeah.
Far and away more than Jared Leto.
Absolutely.
Jared Leto was more of a set piece.
At least she had scenes with Ryan Gosling. At least they fought.
Yeah, they did fight.
Multiple times, actually. Yeah. But... I don't know what the deal with that character was. Like you said, it was probably an idea of Ridley Scott.
But that's I don't know. I think they were trying to have because the reason I like the first movie, the best character in that movie for me was Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Like I was watching Red Letter Media do their review.
Yeah.
The re-review of Blade Runner. They were saying that like he's the real star of this movie.
He really was the real star of the movie, and I think that's what they were trying to go for, because that's what I think this movie really lacked, was that kind of a character.
Yeah.
You didn't have that kind of dark horse to come in and actually bring it all together. Yeah.
I guess they could have had that, but they probably went up to Ridley Scott. They were like, no, don't.
Yeah.
We know what you're capable of.
Go back to making shitty Alien sequels. I'm sorry, prequels.
At the very least, he was pretty hands off with this movie. He just produced, right?
It's like, go on, go play back in Covenant Land, you know. Go hire Fassbender again, you know. God, we'd hate to ruin your vision.
Anyway. Go paint yourself into a corner yet again.
Exactly.
as you try to make sense of the shit you just wrote.
Exactly. So yes, I'm very glad. But again, just like the first movie, this film is a very slow burn.
Yeah, cinematically, it's very similar to the first one. There's a lot of long, quiet moments, which is good.
Yeah. But then again, I want to say that's really more of Villeneuve's style, though.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and I apologize. But like even when we saw Arrival, it was the same kind of pacing and everything.
It had that same synth music.
Yeah.
Like occasionally they'll show a scene and they'll have this really loud synth music.
That's really the other problem I have with this movie too, is because the Vangelis was a very hard act to follow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of points in this movie where I felt like, okay, they just essentially revved up a leaf blower and put it through a sound filter. Like that. It's like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. At times, I wasn't sure if it was the score or if there was supposed to be like a truck nearby or something.
Exactly.
Because I would believe either one because the way the city is, I was like, oh, obviously they're doing construction.
Exactly. One of those hover carriers full of trash or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's the soundtrack definitely doesn't live up to the first movies.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was very engaging.
It was very engaging.
It was very long. It was almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
2 hours and 45 minutes.
If it is engaging, it has an interesting story, and if you're looking for answers of questions that the first movie left behind, you find a few. A few. It's a good sequel.
Yeah.
I would call it. It was a good sequel.
It's definitely worthy to be a sequel.
Yeah.
And I will say, unpopular opinion, I actually did find it more intriguing than the first movie.
Yeah, I think so.
In a few ways. I mean, again, it didn't have a baddie, but then again, it's a hard...
Yeah.
Howard was a hard act to follow.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think the thing about it was the first movie, the plot was very simple. It's like, replicants are here, we got to take care of them. That's it. And then there's like stuff along the way that's like like raises a few eyebrows. It's like, why is he dreaming of unicorns? What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's definitely worth it. Yeah, a lot of people were pleasantly surprised because a lot of people were afraid.
Oh yes.
After Alien Covenant, we were like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was definitely pleasantly surprised. People were comparing it to Fury Road in the sense that a lot of people didn't really believe in it, and then it turned out to be awesome.
Amazing.
I wouldn't put it as amazing as Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury Road I love.
Yeah, Fury Road was awesome.
That was a near perfect movie.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
So I think that's the best we could hope for. Again, we thought Ridley Scott was gonna fuck it up again.
Yep.
But at least he backed off and was like, all right, I'm just producing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ridley Scott.
Yeah. Thanks, Ridley Scott.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about this one?
It's definitely worth a watch. Go see it in the theater.
Yep. All right. So, see you later.
Later.